Ethiopia is widely recognized as the birthplace for coffee, and that definitely makes it the #1 producer on the African continent, followed by Uganda, that comes in at #2. Today on the show, we'll be discussing the coffee heritage in Uganda. We also look at coffee as a culture crop, and my guest and I will also be talking about its consumption. We'll also discuss the value addition. Go on. Now remember, you can always be part of this conversation. Join us and follow us on our social media handles. That is Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We appreciate all your feedback. My name is MUNYANGERI, and welcome to the Uganda Parliamentary Coffee Forum. Join me shortly as we go into the discussion with my special guest. You're welcome on the show.
Thank you very much, my host.
Good to have you on the on the Uganda Parliamentary Coffee Forum.
I'm honored to be here, and I look forward to an interesting conversation.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Let's start with your name. What's your name? A brief introduction about yourself.
My name is Muyangeri Mugambwa Uzempako, Amoti, and also a Parabo.
You were Mutoro.
I am a Muganda who was Empako.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm Ugandan. I'm Ugandan and I have a Karamojong name, so I'm Ugandan.
That's new.
Yes, yes.
Walk us through a brief history.
Yeah.
What's the origin story of coffee in Uganda?
It is interesting that what we know is that coffee was brought from Ethiopia, which is not true. Robusta coffee is an indigenous tree in Uganda. It used to grow around forests around Lake Victoria, Mabira Forest, Sese Islands. So this tree was there. And then eventually by the time the colonial masters, as you call them, by the time they came, Baganda were already cultivating this crop in their gardens. So around 1900, that's when the Catholic fathers brought Arabica coffee from Malawi and Ethiopia to Uganda. So Robusta coffee is indigenous coffee. Only that, we never used to drink coffee. We only chewed coffee.
So you're trying to say that Uganda had the coffee before Ethiopia?
I'm saying that as they had Arabica coffee, we had Robusta coffee.
Robusta, okay.
Yeah. So what they brought was Arabica coffee.
Okay.
And this was a crop which was there, but the Baganda never, drank coffee. They used to chew coffee. And if you are from Mtoro, Mnyoro, Muganda, and so many other tribes here, you know of Omukago. Omukago existed before the white man came to Uganda. And coffee and Omukago are like this. So coffee was here. It is our sacred crop. But many times we think it's a foreign crop. They only, made it, they made it a commodity after telling us now, they said chewing it is not right, it is not good, so you have to drink it so that they can create market for coffee. So
exactly,
coffee
that
is
brings
our
me
thing.
to the question that you said it wasn't considered as a beverage in the past.
True.
So I want you to break down, how was it considered a sacred traditional crop in Buganda Kingdom?
One, in Uganda.
Yes.
One, coffee they used to do, there's what we call emwanyi ezempogola. So they used to cook it. After cooking it, then they would dry it. That's one way. There's also another way where they would just get the coffee, then dry it, then eat it. So if you know about Omukago, which is about brotherhood. So they would get coffee, the sherries, and you get one, I get one. Then I cut here, you cut also there. Then you put your blood, I put my blood. I give you mine, you chew. You give me yours, you chew. Then we are brothers.
The covenant is
We are
made and
brothers.
sealed.
I don't care where you come from. We are brothers. With coffee. So coffee has been here for a very long time. 200 years, coffee has been here. But as you know that we are not very good at we don't write. Those days we never wrote. Even today, we're not writing. It's just a few people who write, and also we don't read. A few people read, and these days with TikTok and these other things, we always want to, if you find that majority of the people on TikTok are following Nyash, not anything else. So you find that many things are there, but we don't know them, and people come and tell us their own story in our story in a different way, and we accept. Yes.
Oh, wow. Can you, what was the cultural significance of coffee then and now?
The culture I come from, which is the Buganda culture, you cannot talk about twins without coffee. If you're talking about twins, you're talking about coffee. As I said that we used to do umkago. Today it has shifted from that, but still when a Muganda woman is introducing the husband to be, the first thing they do is to give them coffee. They share coffee, which is now called akatamukago. So they share their coffee to mean that now we are like here, we are bonded, we are brothers and sisters. So coffee is still very relevant in our culture. And you'll find that when you talk about the Baganda used to have ebigali, yeah. So ebigali they would put in money, put in some herbs, then for the gods put in coffee. Coffee was part of it. Coffee was part of it, and now that we are shifting, because what we lack as Africans is that you will find that an African thinks that coffee is if I do what my ancestor used to do, that is primitivity, which is not true. How do you modernize it? Because the other people somewhere, they have modernized everything they have been doing. So they just say now after 100 years, it has transformed into
It has
this.
evolved, the
It has
grinding and
evolved.
all this that you
Exactly.
see.
Exactly like my father used to. We used to have a few trees of coffee, and we used to take coffee at home. Nothing else, coffee. But they would get the coffee sherries and then dry them and then pound them. Not pounding, they roasting them. After roasting them, he had a grinding machine, and he would grind it, and then we take coffee. But I don't know how it got lost into tea. But I know because coffee was never publicized. It was tea, 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 tea. So eventually we went into tea, and then we left coffee for the ones who know how to take it outside this country. And eventually, because it is cash, and I always ask, who are you producing for? If you can't, use what you're producing, why do you want to produce it for me? Like when you talked about Ethiopia. Ethiopia consumes 60% of its coffee. 60% is consumed in Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, coffee is like, I don't know what to say, but in Ethiopia, you go into a shop, you find people, doing their coffee, local coffee, the way they do it with grass, and then it's on the stove, charcoal stove, and then eventually they give you a cup and they give you coffee. It is part of them. It has become part of them. So how about Ugandans? Everybody's rushing into growing coffee, but for who? If you don't take it. who are you growing the coffee for? So that is something I'm like trying to see, how do we make Ugandans realize that they can take coffee. Coffee is their product, coffee is their crop, and they have to consume it before anybody else consumes it. Yes.
Quite a good question, and actually we shall get to that, the consumption. Uh, as a culture crop, how has coffee influenced social structures or class in coffee growing areas?
Ah, in I think some years back, I think in the 70s, 60s, there are some motorbikes that were named like Mwanyi Zavala. So these big, motorbikes were named Mwanyi Zavala because the people who grew coffee mostly in Uganda, Masaka, and elsewhere, they got money. So they bought these big pickies. And that is one way. And many people became rich men, rich women because of coffee. Many people today went to school because of coffee. You find doctors, but the money that paid for their school fees was from coffee. And coffee was not for the father or the mother. Coffee was for the family. Everybody goes in the farm, in the garden, to make sure that they pick coffee. They make sure that everything was about family. So you see how this and the proceeds were not only for the father or the mother, but for the whole family. And when you look today, when you look at the social structure, you find that the people in coffee, growing coffee, even today, they're becoming richer and richer because they're into coffee. Everybody now is running into coffee because they have realized that the ones who are doing coffee are changing their, changing status very quickly. So we find that now everybody is running into coffee because they have realized that. But also it's very important to know that I have seen members of parliament, I have seen people who are doing very, many, jobs, and we think they are really getting out of money, but now they're running into coffee. Because coffee is an international crop. People want coffee elsewhere. People know coffee elsewhere. They are not like us. If you speak to Americans about coffee, they will understand it. Now the Chinese, do you know that
Actually, it is the second commodity to sell after crude oil globally.
yes, the black gold. This is black gold. But for us as Ugandans, and we have not realized that we have gold. We want to dig deep to get that gold. Yet we have the black gold with us here. So I think it really influenced that, and you will find that many leaders of that time, because they went to school, now they became leaders through coffee. They became the ones who have learned, the bourgeois of Uganda. You find that many of them, most especially in Uganda and Ugisu, it's because of coffee.
Those motorbikes you mentioned about,
Mwanyi Zavala.
Mwanyi Zavala, do they still exist? Zikyaliyo mu ggwanga?
Now I think it has transformed. The other day I was, someone sent me a photo of a Range Rover, which turned out to be a pickup, and it had the Ensenen on top, which meant that it comes from Masaka. So I think that now, instead from Mwanyi Zavala, they have now transformed into some other big cars. People who grow coffee now are becoming even more.
Suddenly represents Masaka.
Yes. And it's so maybe now they are not driving these small borders. The ones with coffee are driving big cars.
Wow.
Even those ones who are not growing coffee, but they're into coffee business, the coffee chain, they're driving big cars. Because coffee is a big thing. Coffee is a big thing. So the money from Mwanyi Zavala, now they have transformed into big cars, big houses. And now you're going to see more houses that are coming up, hotels. You see people with homes that look like hotels because they got money from coffee. Many times I've had the Katikiro of Uganda telling them that, please, when you get the money, don't misuse the money. Don't get other women. So you have one, because you get money, then you get a second one. Then you get a third one. So I hear Maurice saying, please, use the money the way it's supposed to be used. But they're changing lives. And if you go in these places, now they know how coffee can transform their lives.
We've had names like MUNYANGERI. What impact have such had on Uganda as a nation?
MUNYANGERI, of course, MUNYANGERI, because this is, and it's not, I've been to Western Uganda many times, and now, whether it is on a funeral rite or you hear people, they're talking about Mwanyi, they're talking about their seedlings there and here, because they have also realized that coffee is a money maker. So many people, as I speak today, are doing businesses, because if you get money, then you can even do other businesses. So the people who have gone into coffee and then got money, now they have moved, they have coffee farms, but they're also doing other businesses. They get into export, they get into import businesses, they get into value addition. So they create jobs for other people. Now, when you go for these, shows, you will see that agriculture, people with irrigation schemes, are many. So people now are thinking of irrigation schemes, and that means that they are getting the ones in that business. That's a chain, the coffee chain. They are bringing those ones. Now you find there are those ones. There's a time when we had, I think, only one coffee shop, which used to be Ban Cafe, which used to be at next to Stanchart, as you go to the Constitution Square. So there was the Grand Imperial. So that was the only coffee shop. But today, there are quite many. And the ones who were dealing with in coffee, you would find they were not Ugandans. But today, I see many Ugandans starting even small, coffee shops. So which means that more are getting into coffee. I find very many young ladies in coffee, and they're talking about coffee, and they're marketing coffee, and they understand coffee. So for me, I'm like, yeah, now I think we're on the right move. If just imagine, if 1 million people decided that every day we have 1 million cups of coffee taken at only 1,000 a cup, that would mean 1 billion Uganda shillings in only coffee intake for one day. So if we started taking coffee, the money will, the money will rotate, the money will be there, people will sell, because some people are getting money from coffee, so they will buy a shirt, they will buy this. So I think it's really important that we look at how coffee can influence more our social structures.
Allow me to twist the language a little bit. Tuddeko mu lulimi olwaffe olwa wano Oluganda. Oyogera ku mmwanyi ogyogera ddala ng'ekintu eky'omuwendo ennyo kye tulina wano mu Uganda, ekyettunzi, era abantu kye balina okutwala ng'ekikugu ekirimu ssente. Mu lufuutifuuti kyongera okukinnyonnyola okikkaatiriza abantu kitegeera, omulabi yo gy'ali ategeere emmwanyi kye ki.
Kaawa. US eri edduuka litunda kaawa, coffee shop gyeta Starbucks. Oba oli Germany, oba oli Italy, oba ogera ku Starbucks, ogaba nange, they are making money. There's politics, there's the coffee politics. They are controlling us. Waggulu eyo. Bebasalawo ebbeeyi, bebasalawo bagagi. Germany makes more money from coffee than us.
The coffee politics, who is leading this coffee politics?
The big brothers.
The big brothers,
of course, they are the ones benefiting more. German makes more money in coffee than Uganda. But mu Germany ajja wano nga tamanyi muti we gufaanana. Ajja wano nga tamanyi muti we gufaanana n'ogumulaga n'aga nti wow, this is coffee. Naye essimu n'akuba n'aweereza abeewa walabye eki omuti gwaki gwa coffee. But they are making more money. Kati bannayuganda tutandika okwebuuza lwaki abantu abo basobola okukola ssente mu coffee. Tutandika okulowooza waliwo ebintu ebirowoozebwa ku coffee nga si bituufu. Naye ffe nga tulowooza bye byo ne tugenda nayo mu maaso. So kati bannayuganda ate engeri yokka ey'okufunamu ssente mu coffee si kumulima. Saalima yekka coffee nti agenda okufuna ki? Ssente. Alima naye yeetaaga abalala. Alima coffee yeetaaga alina akuuma akagenda okukuba coffee okumujja mu ki? Mu bisusunku. Yeetaaga alina akuuma akagenda okusiika kaawa oyo. Yeetaaga agenda okugula kaawa oyo amutwale we bagenda omunywera. N'ebintu bintu ki ebirala byosobola okukola mu coffee. Ekimuli kya kaawa kikola ki? Tumanyi ekikola. Eriyo abatunda ebimuli bo nga tebalinda kaawa kukula. Emanyi temala kukula bo batunda kiki? Kimuli. Tufuddeyo okunoonyereza. Eriyo abalala ice cream wa kaawa. Otuuka awantu nga buli kimu ekiriwo kaawa. So kitegeeza ki? Kitegeeza nti bannayuganda tutandike okulaba ekibala kino nga eky'omuwendo gye tuli era tukikozese okufuna bye tulina okukifunamu. Naye nga tukimanyi kifa tulina okusookerwako ng'abaguzi. Bwe tunaalima nga tulimira balala bajja genda mu maaso nga bakyatugamba kati ebbeeyi tugisaze. Kati tugenze Brazil. Kati tugambye nti oba watema ekibira toleeta kaawawo. Kati tugambye nti kati twagala Vietnam. So nga tuzinira ku ntoli ki? Ku ntoli zaabwe. Naye tubeere nga ffenaffe ffennyini kaawa waffe tumwekozeseza. Notuuka mu maka nga mu mwaka temuyingirangamu paaka ya Pearl Coffee. Mu mwaka mulamba. Era gamba kaawa wa bbeeyi. Kaawa wa bbeeyi. Ennusu emitwalo 2.5 paaka ya kwota togenda ginywa mu lunaku lumu. Kyokka oli ku majaani nga n'amajaani g'oliko si majaani naye bisusunku. Naye oli musanyufu. Bisusunku byaki? Oli ku Nescafe. Nescafe si ye kaawa. Ebisusunku nga kola ki? Nescafe ne babizza ne tugula.
Nescafe si ye kaawa ali original ennyini. Talina testi eri.
Kaawa ono gwe tunywa wanjawulo ku Nescafe. Era ono tuyinza mugegana ku Nescafe. Naye ate kati osanga abasoma nga ggwe ng'afiira ku Nescafe instant. Nescafe. Ne bamuguza akantu bwe kati $1,250 n'akatwala. N'alaba kofi owaddala n'amuyitako. So nkakasa nti bannayuganda tulina okutandika. Naye nze ndi musanyufu nti abantu bangi kati baanza okulaba kofi n'okumulima. Naye okumulima tekimala, tulina omumukozesa. Abamukola ki? Abamulirimira. So nze ndowooza nti kikulu nnyo abantu okumanya nti kofi kyaffe era ffe tulina okukitandika. Bwe kuba akafaananyi amatooke ge tulima, singa amatooke twali tugalima nga tetugalya, singa akatale kalinga we kali, naye amatooke balijja wali ne baliteeka wano nno n'alirya. Era abatunda amatooke oli owuliddeko nga bagamba bannange amatooke tugavuddemu tegafuna. Lwaki tulowooza nti $1 zokka ze ssente? Omuntu akuŋŋaanya 10 bw'afuna obukadde n'atakumanya. Era abagagga ekyo baakimanya. Abagagga abaddala tebali mu bintu bitunda miliyoni. Bali mu bitunda 5, 10, afunako nusu 10 eki kimu, naye ng'aguza Uganda, n'aguza Rwanda, n'aguza Congo, n'aguza awa, agenda okumaliriza nga ssente z'alina tosobola kuzibala kubanga yamanya. the power of numbers. Kati numbers zaffe muzaala nnyo, buli lunaku muzaala abaana. Batugamba nti mu myaka mu 2020 by 2050 Uganda ejja kubeera ng'eri mu bantu nga miliyoni 100. Kaakati emiliyoni 100 zimugenda okubanga muzadde teyoza singa banywa kofi. Naye mubazaala bamumala obazaala mwagala omukyala naye aba batundamu ki ebintu.
Kamusalamu ekirimi awo. Let's take a short conversation gets more interesting and interesting. Let's take a quick short break. We'll be right back. Let's sip some coffee. I'll be right back. You're still watching the Uganda Parliamentary Coffee Forum. I'll be right back. Don't go away.